I've always thought those obliging criminals who strewed their tracks with articles of personal adornment were an invention of detective fiction for the benefit of the author.
Well, live and learn, my dear fellow. After all, you haven't been doing this job very long, have you?
The merest amateur, I confess, whereas you, as a professional...
Take a fatherly interest in your ambition. So come on, you found it. What are your deductions?
Well, it's a charm. The sort of thing a woman wears as a brooch. Gold setting, all diamonds with 2 emerald eyes. Parker stones, too. Your turn, old Parker Bird.
Well, now, let's see. You found this in the undergrowth, very near the spot where Cathcart was shot, but nowhere near the footprints of our number 10. In other words, I don't think our criminal, if that's what he is, has been strewing his tracks.
So?
Well, it could have been lost by a member of your own family and been lying there for days. Or it could have been lost by a previous tenant of the place.
Well, we can soon find out if it's the first. If it's the second, the local police ought to have some record. I mean, it ain't the sort of thing one mislays without making a fuss about.
What isn't?
Oh, hello, Helen. Ever seen that before?
No. Sweet. Where did you find it?
Out in the garden. Thought you might have dropped it when you were flirting in the bushes with Jerry.
Are you not changing? Dinner's just being served.
And bless your kind heart. Some cold game pie and a bottle of Lafite will do, I say, Charles.
As you wish.
Oh, Helen. Do you mind?
Oh, sorry.
If it ain't claimed, we'll make you a present of it, won't we, Charles?
Now, don't be too late, Peter. Fleming's had a long day.
Forget about us, old girl. We'll fend for ourselves.
Peter, for your information, I'm confoundedly hungry.
And you've got the night train to catch back to London. Yes, I know. Won't be a couple of minutes, Helen. Bon appetit.
Peter, do you know how long it is since
here.
I've eaten? What?
What do you make of this? Who put what down here?
Approximately 2 foot by 6 inches and fairly heavy, I'd
Yes,
say.
it's sunk in very deep. Look, and it's broken some of the planks.
Yes. And it's sunken in deeper on the farther side, as though it was something bulky set on edge.
You know, I would guess that was a suitcase.
A suitcase? But whose?
Yes, whose indeed? If we can assume it didn't stay there very long, it would have exceedingly visible in the daytime. But somebody might very well have thrust it there if they'd been caught with it at 3 o'clock in the morning and didn't want it to be seen.
But when did they take it away?
Almost immediately. Certainly before dawn, or even old Crease could hardly have failed to spot it.
Well, it can't be the doctor's bag. It's the wrong shape.
Oh, right you are. No, unless Crakes and his lads have been leaving things about, that was thrust there the night before last by... Well, let's see, who have we got? Cathcart himself, Gerald, even Mary, I suppose. Nobody else could be supposed to have had anything to hide.
Except our character on the motorcycle. The unknown gentleman in the size 10 boots.
Absolutely right, Charles. Too many clues on an empty stomach. Let's feed our faces, or you'll never survive that journey.
The blotting pad you wanted from His Grace's desk in the study, my lord.
Ah, good man. Ever read Man on Leicester, Bunter?
Man on the watch, my lord?
Never mind. Well, you know what they say. Leave no stone unturned. Especially when there are sheets of blotting paper. Now then, let's see, what do we got? That's Gerald's signature. The Colonel's. A long, sprawling hand, which I judge to be feminine. 5 something of fine something. Oh, grouse, probably. O-E is F-O-U... Found, I suppose.
Yes. But is there anything else you require, my lord?
Information, Bunter, nothing more. Can't leave it all to Mr. Parker up in London. So I shall pay a call on Inspector Crakes.
Yes, my lord.
For you, Bunter, I have a somewhat more delicate mission.
My lord?
My sister, who's lady's maid in her?
Miss Ellen, my lord.
Now, this is going to call for subtlety, diplomacy, and quite possibly deception. Inspector Crakes? Wimsey. Peter Wimsey. I dropped in to see you at the station, and your people told me I'd find you here.
You wanted to see me, my lord?
Well, it's not important, really. I found a small piece of jewellery, sort of good luck charm. Quite valuable, I'd imagine. I wondered if anybody had reported it missing.
I haven't heard.
Oh. Well, as I say, it's not important. Not to worry. I say. What have you got there?
1924 hand-built Pro Superior motorcycle and sidecar. 1150cc side valve, AMAC carburation, multi-plate clutch, try some boil feed.
Well, well, well.
Now, you'll notice the number plates missing, license holder removed. Petrol still in the tank, stolen most like. Finished its job, run off the road, deliver it. Don't you agree?
Cigar, Inspector?
Not on duty, sir, thank you very much.
No, of course not. When you're off duty.
Oh, well, put it like that, my lord. Thank you.
A word in your ear, my dear fellow.
I'll make sure that rope's secure, and then we'll have her out.
That somewhat nosy individual, Inspector, that they seem to have foisted on us from Scotland Yard.
Oh, Parker?
Yeah, that's the name. Now, you take a tip from me. If you want to put our nosy friend's nose out of joint and render a real service to the Duke of Denver, you will find the owner of that machine.
If you have any information, my lord, it's your duty to inform the police.
That is exactly what I am doing, Inspector. On the night of the crime, there was a prowler in the grounds of Riddlesdale Lodge. And you can take my word for it, he was right in that machine.
But how do you know that
The how is not important at the moment. Nevertheless, it does happen to be true. You find the chappie, Inspector, and you will be one up on Parker of Scotland Yard.
Nothing I'd like better. All the same with the number plates and license holder missing.
Well, he disposed of those for the same reason that he dumped the machine. He's a frightened man. He doesn't want to be traced.
Right you are, my lord. But he's made it very difficult for us.
Oh, not as difficult as you'd imagine. All you've got to do is find a young man about 6'2", wearing a size 10 shoe and a Burberry with a tear in it.
Oh?
Oh, yes, and he may have a deep cut or scratch on one of his hands. So don't waste your time looking for number plates, old lad. You just scour the local railway stations. And if you do have any luck, I'd be uncommonly grateful if you'd let me know either at the lodge or wire me at that address.
110A Piccadilly?
I'm a very uncertain bird, always hopping about.
But I daren't be doing this in here, Mr. Bunter. Not in his lordship's room. You'll get me the sun.
My dear Miss Ellen, calm yourself, please. The responsibility is entirely mine.
Yeah, but if I'm caught...
You are here at my invitation and for the best of all possible reasons.
The best, Mr. Bunter?
Well, I refer naturally to rendering the best service in our powers to our employers.
Gee.
And now if you'd like to do your laundry.
Whatever is all that?
Criminal investigation being our hobby.
Criminal investigation?
It requires all sorts of strange gadgets and devices.
Investigating me, then, are you?
I should be delighted, given the opportunity.
Fat lot you learned from me.
No. Don't be sceptical.
Oh, the things you say.
Ooh, well, I see I shall have to convince you. Well, let me see now. Well, supposing this garment was found on the body of a murdered woman.
Murdered?
Of course, one would expect that the victim's clothes would be covered in her own blood, wouldn't one? Yes. But supposing we suspected the wearer of this skirt of having committed the murder.
But that's Lady Mary's skirt.
My task, then, would be to find incriminating evidence. So, looking very carefully, to begin with, we find
What?
a stain on the hem, just below the side seam. Red. It could be the blood of an animal. Could be human blood.
Well, it could be a glass of port.
Yeah. I see that the stain has gone right through the material. So, I snip off a tiny piece
Yeah.
the inside edge. So, pop it into a little pillbox, on which I seal the lid and write, found on Lady Mary Wimsey's skirt.
What's left of it?
And the date. I now post this to a friend of his lordship's in London, a scientific gentleman, who will look at it through a very powerful microscope and tell me that it is rabbit's blood and how many days it has been there. And that will be the end of that.
Well, he'd be wrong then, because it's not rabbit's blood, it's bird's blood from one of them grouse they've been slaughtering. Her ladyship told me so.
Oh? Feeling better then, is she?
Well, she could hardly be worse, I'll say that. She's been playing up something terrible these last few days. Her and her nervous prostrations, tantrums, that's what I call it. Not more blood. Gravel from Lady Mary's skirt.
Found 6 inches from the hem. And, so that this little one won't be lonely, silver sand found on Lady Mary's skirt. Now, if this blood proves to be human blood, and there is gravel and silver sand in the vicinity of where the body was found, well, then, of course... But what would you say, Miss Ellen?
Dunno, I'm sure.
That the wearer of this skirt, although not being necessarily guilty, nevertheless has a great deal of explaining to do.
Yes, well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Bunter, explaining or no explaining. She wasn't that fond of the captain. Never appreciated him. That's what I said to Cook at the time, and she agreed with me.
Uh-huh. Then why was she so upset at his death?
You search me, Mr. Bunter, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's not so long since she was balmy about that other fella.
Indeed? And which other fellow was that one, my dear?
The great Impy Biggs himself.
Yeah, my dear Peter. Oh, very pleasant.
When did you get here?
Half an hour ago.
Nobody looking after you?
Don't be absurd. The Denvers wouldn't dream of not looking after me. I'm simply enjoying a solitary tea.
Where is everybody?
Well, the Duchess has driven Merbles into Stapley. The Arbuthnot's have gone for a walk on the moor. Lady Mary, I gather, is
Still under the weather, yes. You just come straight from Jerry?
Yes, he got your letter.
Mm-hmm. Just a note, you know, showing him we care. How is he?
Reticent.
Oh, it's a rotten situation, but he ain't making it any easier for himself. Always had a confounded stubborn streak in him.
Well, I'm not worrying unduly at this stage. It's you I've come to see, Peter.
Me?
Well, if I'm to defend him, I want to know all that you know.
Do you, though? All right, but no bullying of the witness.
I think we can make a case out of this, even if we can't find that mysterious man on his mysterious motorcycle. Oh, yes, I have my sources. Denver's silence is an awkward complication, of course, but, did you say that you put the police on to find this other fellow, by the way?
I didn't, but yes, I have.
You expect to find him, then?
I hope so.
And what's going to happen to my case if you do find him?
Hmm?
See here, Peter, you're no fool, so stop trying to look like a country policeman. You really are trying to find this man.
Certainly.
Just as you like, of course, but has it ever occurred to you that perhaps he'd better not be found?
Not be found?
Remember this. Once the police get hold of a thing or a person, it's no use relying on my or Merville's or anybody's professional discretion. Everything's dragged out into the light of common day. And very common it is, too. Here's Denver accused of murder, who refuses point blank to give him the slightest assistance.
But Jerry's an ass. I mean, he doesn't realize...
Do you think I haven't made it my business to make him realize? All he can say is, they can't hang me, I didn't kill the man, although I think it's a jolly good thing that he is dead. And what business is of theirs what I was doing in the garden that night? Ha. I ask you, Peter, is that a reasonable attitude for a man in his position to take up?
He never did have any sense.
Do you know if anybody else had told him about this other man?
I don't think so.
This Scotland Yard chap. He's a personal friend of yours, I gather.
Yes.
So much the better. He can hold his tongue.
Look here, Impy, I mean, this is all damn mysterious, but what the heck are you getting at? I mean, why shouldn't I lay hold of this fella if I can?
I can answer that question with another. Why is Denver screening him?
By Jove. You know, I never thought of that. What sleuths you lawyers are. Well, I shall have to be careful, shan't I?
You're a clever devil, Peter. I may be wrong, then. Go ahead. Find your fella by all means. But there is one question I'd like to ask. Who are you screening?
Hello? Is that you, Peter?
Yes?
It's Charles here. Did I get you out of bed?
No. You
all right?
Well, of course I am all right, old chap. Roused from the sleep of innocence, but I'm all ears. Where are you ringing from?
Victoria Station. Going on the night ferry to Paris.
Yes, I thought you might be. How'd it go?
Oh, not very exciting.
You went over Cathcart's place in Albany?
Yes, it was an absolute desert. Your brother-in-law-to-be was the model of discretion. There were no papers at all except a few bills and receipts. Oh, there was one bill of mild interest, though, from a beauty specialist in Bond Street.
Beauty? What, in his name?
Yes. I went round to see her. Apparently, when he was in town, he used to go there once a week for treatment.
Good Lord. Anything else?
A couple of modern French novels. Oh, and another copy of Manon.
Manon?
Yes, with what the catalogues call curious plates. He must have had a life somewhere.
So you're nipping over to Paris?
Yes, I've been in touch with the Sûreté and the Credit Lyonnais. They're going to provide me with his papers, especially his account and checkbook. Peter? You sure you're all right?
You do go on, old lad, don't you? Let me know if you strike gold.
Yes, I'll keep in contact.
Bon voyage, mon vieux.
A bad night, my lord?
Oh, ridiculous, ain't it? Damn war's been over for 10 years now.
Always the same dream.
Oh, it's claustrophobic stuff. Here you scratching away, me old sergeant, but you never seem to get to me.
But I did, my lord, in the end. Will you take breakfast in bed, my lord?
No, I'll have a tub and come down. Oh, anything in the papers, Bundle?
Nothing urgent, my lord. A sale next week at Northbury Hall. Mr. Fleet's library. A Caxton. Confession of Mantis.
Oh, now, what's the good of telling me that and we're stuck up here for heaven knows how long? Oh, thank you, Bunter. You know, I wish to blazes I'd stuck to books and never touched crime. How did you get on with the fair Ellen, by the way?
Very satisfactory, my lord. A most pleasant young person. Talkative to the point of indiscretion.
But not beyond the point.
Oh, yes, my lord.
What about my sister's skirt?
I found some specimens and posted them to Dr. Lubbock.
Good man. Facts, Bunter, must have facts. When I was a small boy, I always hated facts. Thought they were nasty, hard things, all knobs.
Yes, my lord. My old mother always used to say.
Your mother, Bunter? Sure, I never knew you had one. I always thought you just sort of came along already made, as it were. Oh, excuse me. That's infernally rude of me. Yeah, beg pardon, I'm sure.
That's all right, my lord.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I was one of 7.
That is pure invention, Bunter. I know better. You are unique. But you were going to tell me about your mater.
Oh, yes, my lord. My old mother always used to say that facts are like cows. If you stare them in the face hard enough, they generally run away.
By Jove, that's courageous, Bunter. What a splendid person she must be.
I think so, my lord.
I'll have that tub now. Strop my razor for me, would you? There's a good fellow.
Yes, my lord.
Damn.
Won't be long. Who is it?
Mary?
Peter.
Hello, thing. How are you? Haven't clapped eyes on you yet. Sorry you've been having such a rough time of it.
I can't hear you.
Little Keith. Polly, old thing, I'm not a ghost. Well. What's the matter? Something wrong? Oh, now, come on, old girl. I know we've never seen enough of each other, but I am your brother. If there's some sort of trouble, tell me.
Trouble? Oh, you silly old Peter, of course there's trouble. Didn't you know they killed my man and put my brother in prison? Don't you think that's enough to be in trouble about? Peter, I'm most awfully sorry. I really am quite all right. It's just my head so bad I don't know what I'm doing some of the time. What did you want in that silly old box?
Hmm? Oh, I don't know. It's just my second nature being nosy. Better toddle back to bed.
Yes, I do feel a bit chilly.
Oh, Polly! Look, just one moment, would you? Hang on. Here's yours, Benishot.
No, I've never seen that before.
Sure?
Yes, absolutely sure.
Oh. You know why you girls wear such flimsy little pie jams in this beastly climate beats me.
Peter. Look, when are they going to try, Jodie?
Oh, not for a long time yet. Lots of formalities first. Off you go, Polly. Pass the message if you feel like a change.
Yes, I will. Not just yet.
My lord?
Thank you, Bunter. Bunter, what do you say you found on that skirt?
Blood, gravel, and silver sand, my lord.
Silver sand?
There was something else, my lord.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from Miss Ellen. It involves Lady Mary.
Thank you. Did you see him often when he was here?
Oh, Monsieur Cathcart? Oh, mais certainement. Only, of course, in the normal way, coming in, going out. Mais il était très gentil. Very polite, always.
What about visitors?
Monsieur?
Visitors, friends, amis.
Oh, a man so handsome, but of course he was popular. Friends, of course. Parties.
Parties?
How you say, je carte for the cards.
For money?
For cards.
Very often. Regular?
Oh, sometimes. Mais toujours très élégant, a gentleman in evening dress.
Did you ever overhear them quarrelling?
Quarreling?
What's so funny?
Oh, Monsieur quarreling. Monsieur Cathcart always. He was correct.
What about women?
Never.
Never?
Never at all. Oh, except once.
Once?
Last February, he gave a lunch party for some ladies.
Do you know who they were?
Oh non, monsieur, mais c'était très comme il faut. One of them was his fiancée, une belle Anglaise, une blonde, ravissante.
Did he go away often? Oh, partir often.
Oh, this apartment was his pied-à-terre in Paris. Sometimes he would away. We will not see him for weeks, even months.
Did he keep a valet?
A valet? No, monsieur. Ma cousine, Madame Leblanc, she looked after him and cleaned for him when he was here.
This Madame Leblanc, I'd like to talk to her. Is that possible?
Oh, she will tell you no more, but certainement she lives very near. I can send for her at once.
That's very kind of you, monsieur, but not at once, if you don't mind. I'd like to look around the apartment first.
Monsieur.
Shall we say in about an hour's time?
1 hour, 1 year, as Monsieur l'Inspecteur desires.
Oh, Peter. Have the police come up with anything yet?
Not so far. Deuced odd about that motorcyclist, Johnny, I must say.
Odd.
If he came on the main road, why the devil didn't somebody spot him?
But he could have come over the moor from Weardale. It's only a minor road, but it's not too bad.
I say, that's an idea. Especially if you wanted to keep out of view.
It runs over Wemling Fell.
Wemling Fell?
Crosses the River Red.
Yes, hang on. Wemling Fell, got it, yes?
Crosses the River Red.
Uh-huh.
Skirts the swamp and drops down past a farm.
A farm?
Grider's Hole, I believe it's called.
That doesn't seem to be marked. Oh, yes, here it is, Grider's Hole. It's only a rough track, but he could have come that way. He could indeed. How far is it?
Well, over the moor, or about 2 miles, I suppose.
I think I'll take a stroll out there.
Well, mind the swamp, Peter. Hardwell tells me he's seen a sheep sucked clean under in less than 3 minutes.
Oh, thanks, Helen. Well, if I'm late for lunch, you'll know why.
Entree. Madame Leblanc?
Oui, monsieur.
Very good of you to come. Please sit down.
Oh, le pauvre capitaine. I could not believe it when I heard the news. I shall remember him always. Oh, thank you, monsieur.
Yes, it's a very sad business. Tell me, was he a good employer, madame?
Oh, indeed, monsieur. He was a very charming young man, very generous. He interested himself in my family.
Do you remember earlier in the year when his fiancée came over to visit him?
Oh, certainement. I myself served them le déjeuner.
Do you remember anything special about the occasion?
No, monsieur. It all passed off very happily.
Did the young lady make a strong impression on you?
Il était très distingué, very English. Mais le Capitaine Cathcart was an exceptional man. So handsome, but serious. He deserved a wonderful wife. For my taste, she was not enough warm.
I see. What about the captain's habits?
All good, none bad.
That doesn't sound very human. No vices?
I do not know what you mean in that respect, monsieur. He was very tidy in his habits. Not like some Englishmen I have known who keep their affairs sans dessus. He was very elegant in his dress. And for his toilette, he was like a woman. Poor petit garçon.
Excuse me. Yes? Yes, speaking.
Ah, Monsieur Parker? This is Jean Jacobo, Quai de Lyonnaise. I received your message. With regard to the affairs of Monsieur Cathcart, I doubt if I could be of much help. But if you could be here at, say, 3:30, I will be pleased to assist what little way I can.
Bracing morning, ain't it? Parky, nevertheless. Seasonal, too. Still, good for the sheep, I dare say. Curls the wool and so on, what? Do you, lose many animals in that bog? Rotten-looking place. Suppose that's why you've got a wall round the property. What do you want? Oh, just a neighbourly call, don't you know? I'm staying just across the moor there. Thought I'd pop in, see whoever it is, make myself known. Do you think he's at home? Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So uncommonly jolly finding all you Yorkshire people so kind and hospitable. What's his name, by the way?
Mr. Grimthorpe.
Ah, there's a good old Yorkshire name. Wherever I go in the North Riding, I hear him mentioned. Grimthorpe's butter is best. Grimthorpe's pork melts on the fork. For Irish stews, get Grimthorpe's use. In other words, in me you see a man whose lifelong ambition it has been to meet Mr. Grimthorpe in the flesh. So if you will be kind enough to open the gate and let me through. That's no unkind of you. I take it I'll find the master in the house.
Mister,
Yes, I think.
aren't they'll set dogs on they?
You don't say. Thanks for the morning.
Answer that bell, someone here. Answer it, damn you all.
Oh, hello. Mr. Grimthorpe at home? Mr. Grimthorpe?
Who is it?
Through here, perhaps? Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Well. This way? I say, what a charming cottage.
Who is that?
Ah. Good morning. Hope you'll excuse me dropping in like this. I'm staying over at Riddlesdale Lodge.
What of it?
May I come in?
Is the most?
Thank you.
Well, lass, what is staring at? Get to the mother. Shut door. Bit of mindy manners for thee.
You, Mr. Grimthorpe?
What of I am?
My name's Wimsey, Peter Wimsey, Duke of Denver's brother. Mind if I sit down?
I'm not stopping, am I?
Thank you. Well, I was just out walking, thought I'd make the pleasure of your acquaintance. Pretty lonely up here, what? Don't suppose you get many strangers passing by?
None.
You a married man, Mr. Grimthorpe?
What the hell's that got to do with thee?
Oh, no, nothing, my dear fellow. But that charming little girl who let me in thought she might be yours.
Well, if I thought she wasn't, I'd strangle her and her mother together. Now, what does say to that, eh?
To tell you the truth, Mr. Grimthorpe, I do have an excuse for coming here today. Fact is, I'm looking for a young man, an acquaintance of mine who said he'd be touring these parts about now. I'd just come back from abroad, don't you know? Afraid I might have missed him. He's a tall fellow with big feet on a motorcycle combination. I just... Oh, so you know him.
When did Sir say that this was?
Well, now, let me see now. I'd say it was probably last Wednesday.
I knew it! The slut, the damn filthy scheming slut. So that type were a friend of thine, eh? Where I were at Stapley last Wednesday and Thursday, you knew that, didn't you? And he knew it too. He were a damn flop betwixt you. But if I hadn't been, if I'd have cotched him, he'd have finished up at bottom of Peter's pot. And that's where there'll be the sen in a minute.
That will do, Mr. Grimthorpe. Oh, no, that's not nice at all. Might murder a fellow like that. And it's a nasty business murder. Now, you just behave yourself, old lad.
Get out of my house.
Certainly. I have to thank you for a most entertaining encounter.
Get out of my house.
Sorry you couldn't help me with my friend.
Nero! Nero! Come, boy. Come, boy. Get him, Nero. Come on, boy.
You're mad to come here. Oh, quick, you mustn't stay. He's gone for the dogs.
Madam, I'm afraid you have the advantage.
Run, the dogs. Oh, my God, what will become of me? Go! God, you don't want to see me killed. Oh, go, man, a pity.
But you need my help.
No. No. Stay and you'll murder me for sure. Go. Go.
Jake! What dish that little pass for, man?
Never doubt I could do. Any road, there were no call to set dog on him.
Damned idiot. Shut their mouths. Come on, Nero, come on.
Thanks very much. Afraid I caused unintentional mischief.
Tis master's way with them as comes to look at missus. I'd best keep away, unless they want their blood on the head.
Before the war, when Captain Cathcart was a very young man...
That was before I come here.
He had investments in Russia, investments in Germany. He also had a large share of a very prosperous vineyard in Champagne.
The war finished all that. It finished the fortunes of many people.
So he came out of the war a poor man?
He suffered a diminution.
Yes, yes, but on the other hand, let's see, where are we? From 1922 onwards, there are irregular cash payments made into his account. One in February 1923 for as much as 35,000 francs, and another for 14,000 in September of the same year. Can you explain these payments?
Oh, they never made us uneasy. You see, at the time of his death, he was 14,000 francs in credit.
Yes, I do see, and I'm fairly clear about the money he drew out for his own living expenses. I'm less clear about these regular withdrawals, starting in 1925. Now, once every 3 months. Now, they remain constant for 2 years, and a year ago were increased by 10%.
Oh, Monsieur Cathcart was very correct, but not communicative.
Well, then, have you any theory as to these payments?
A man in his position, unmarried, with some private means.
Are you suggesting he had a mistress?
Monsieur, you must not put words in my mouth. I don't know if he had one mistress. He doesn't know none at all.
Well, if it wasn't a woman, was he being blackmailed?
Oh, le chantage. There is the difference between us, Monsieur Parker. We have a mystery on our hands. The French banker explains it in terms of love, and the English policeman in terms of blackmail. Oh.
Had a pleasant day, my lord. Pleasant? An anemic description, Bunter, for my robust adventures. In the space of the last few hours, I have inhaled the stench of an infamous swamp known as Peter's Pot, crossed swords with a jealous ogre of a husband, and succeeded by only centimetres in saving the seat of my bags from the fangs of a Baskerville-sized hound. In short, Bunter, his lordship is a shadow of his former self and badly in need of stimulant. Stout fella.
I'm glad your lordship came to know how.
Ah, so am I, Bunter, so am I. But it was touch and go. Meanwhile, I suppose nothing's been happening here?
Well, on the contrary, my lord. The arrival of the Dowager Duchess has caused rather a stir.
My mother here?
About half an hour ago. Her Grace fetched Her Grace from Stapley Station.
Well, I must see her, Bunter. Where is she? In her room?
I fancy she's with Lady Mary.
Mother! Oh, how wonderful to see you.
Now then, how are you? Looking a little peaky?
No, I'm top hole, Mother, thanks. How was York?
Oh, depressingly medieval.
Is that why you left it so soon?
Oh, your obstinate brother. That's why I left. Isn't it strange? Of my 3 children, I always regarded you as the problem one, and now I'm forced to revise my opinion.
Really, Mother? Well, I don't think you have to. I mean, I know poor old Jerry's landed himself in this most frightful jam.
No, don't excuse him, Peter, dear. I wouldn't say this to anyone else, but he's behaving not only with the obstinacy of a fool, but with a great lack of consideration for the rest of his family. And as for your sister...
Now, Polly's had a rotten shock.
I don't know what she's had. But when I discover she's warming her thermometer on her hot water bottle to promote her temperature and has swallowed the entire contents of a bottle of ipecacuanha so that her symptoms become even more convincing...
Mother?
It's true.
Are you absolutely certain?
My dear boy, she's been throwing the wool over the eyes of all of you. I suppose you call that kind of thing a neurosis or some such nonsense and coddle it. In my days, we called it hysterics. A naughtiness, and we knew exactly how to deal with it.